I look at past summer leagues to kind of gauge what you can really get out of summer league. And let's be honest, the answer is not a ton. It's not. Like, look at last year. We talked about this a little bit earlier. We got the Davion Mitchell could play defense. And when the year came around, he played good defense, but he also met some pretty good NBA players. And what else did we get out of that? Kings won Summer League. They had some great momentum going. Jamias Ramsey and Louis King, Nimi Keita. A lot of these guys, I look at a guy like Keon Ellis right now, and I watch Summer League, and I go, that might give us some backcourt defensive depth. That'd be awesome. And it might, and he might. But if you go on years past, odds are Keon Ellis is going to be a two-way player that might see a few games up here in Sacramento with injuries when those inevitably happen. What do we get out of Keegan Murray? Now, I don't want to say, because Davion Mitchell did this, Keegan Murray's going to do that. Because they're different players. And Mitchell was a 9 pick. Murray was a 4 pick. That doesn't automatically mean Murray's going to be better, by the way. Long list of people that were picked 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, second round, whatever, that have done great. We don't need to go over that. But I think what we learned, and the only thing that really matters out of Summer League, I think number one, Keegan Murray is ready to play in the NBA. Keegan Murray has a fantastic three-point shot. Keegan Murray's attitude, he was compared to Tim Duncan. If he's half as good as Tim Duncan, what a home run at that pick. But the attitude really of just calm, cool, collected, not over-emotional, really not seemingly that emotional at all, and there's nothing wrong with that. What he didn't come off to me, though, there's a difference between not being outwardly emotional and being aloof. He did not come off to me as aloof. He's very engaged, very controlled, very focused, very much top speed, but he's that type of player that doesn't always look like he's going top speed. And that's a wonderful thing. Didn't force. He's a rookie. He's going to make silly mistakes. He's going to dribble the ball one too many times and get his pocket picked. He's going to force a shot here or there. But really, in Summer League, I didn't see a lot of that. I almost saw none of that. I've struggled to think of a time where it looked like he forced a play.
He didn't.
But I can tell you there were plenty of times where he just kind of, for lack of a better term, the 3-point shot's a 3-point shot. Mm-hmm. And the clutch 3-point shot against Orlando was a blast. That showed me a lot too. That's a clutch situation. That was a quick pump fake. 2 guys flew by him, and he still had the clock awareness and the ability to knock down that 3. That's a big deal.
Got a high basketball IQ, right?
Off the charts. But what I really enjoyed seeing Keegan Murray do is he would, for lack of a better term, he would get into the lane with a little bit of momentum, and he would lope his way to the basket, and not in a Euro step lope like Tyreek Evans, just kind of 1 step, 2 step, find his opening. Maybe he released after the first step, maybe the second. Maybe it was a fall-away jumper. Maybe it was a jumper flying to his right. Maybe it was a duck under layup. Maybe it was a flip. I really enjoyed watching Keegan Murray's penetration throughout Summer League. Once you were able to see what he could do from the outside, then it was how does he create his own shot. What I'm very excited about is the idea of De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk. And I don't know that Mike Brown's going to set it up this way. But I love the idea of De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk basically running 70 miles a game in circles. Just circling under the basket, top of the key. Domantas Sabonis right around the free throw line. maybe top of the key. Keegan Murray finding his way to post up, get free, not post up, post out, get free, sit at the 3-point line, and watch that offense run. I think offensively, if they plug in the right system, they have the best 1 to 7 horses they've had in a while. I've gone back last week. I was looking at old rosters. It's tough because a lot of those rosters were DeMarcus Cousins heavy, and he's such a load. It's almost like 2 players. But even going back to Isaiah Thomas, Rudy Gay, DeMarcus Cousins, I think next year's team is deeper and overall better than that team.
I agree. I said this. This is, and I don't think there's an argument to be made here. De'Aaron is going into season 6.
6.
This is the best roster he's had.
Yes, it is.
And when you look at it from that standpoint, I think it's put up or shut up time.
I couldn't agree with you more.
And I think he knows that. And I'm hoping he's embracing that.
Well, and to be fair, and I know that 98% of people understand what you meant by that. To be clear, because you didn't mean it the way it looks on paper, it's not like De'Aaron Fox has been talking. When you say put up or shut up, it's not because De'Aaron's out there running his mouth. It's simply we need to see it.
We need to see the all-star is what I mean by that. That guy that we have been waiting for years, and we've been talking about it since he drafted. This is a guy with all-star potential. This is a guy with all-star potential. I have said forever now, I think the biggest deterrent for De'Aaron was he just never has really had a good roster around him.
That's correct.
I think that 2019 team that won, 39 games?
Mm-hmm. With Dave Yeager.
Again, I think that was a mirage. I really do. You know, that team got figured out second half of the season once the running gimmick was up.
But I think that was it was a mirage, but Jay, I think that team for 3/4 of the year was the best coached team we've had since Rick Adelman.
Oh, I won't disagree with that.
Dave Yeager did a coach of the year style, and it's why I've said it'll never happen. But I would love to see, and Dave had a lot of stuff going on. I would love to see, and no offense to Mike Brown, oh my God, a healthy, focused, clear-headed Dave Yeager running a team like this. Mm-hmm. That's a playoff team. Well, yeah. It's a borderline playoff, for sure, a play-in team.
Yeah, and a lot of we've talked about this ad nauseum, and it's going to be kind of I think it's going to be a theme throughout the season, is that Western Conference is going to bounce back, I think, this year. And again, this is the Kings' best roster, and who knows? There's a lot of really good teams out there in the West, though, dude. A lot of really good teams.
If you assume, and obviously it's silly to do this in July, it always is, just there's your caveat. But if you assume here on July 25th that no injuries are going to happen to anybody, because you can't predict those. You assume that Utah will figure out a way to move Donovan Mitchell, which they will. Combined with the Spurs, they're both in tank mode for Victor Wembanyama, and they're rebuilding. That takes 2 of the 10 teams out if you count the play-in. To me, it's simply 3 teams racing for 2 spots. It's the Lakers, it's the Kings, it's the Blazers. I think the Blazers are going to be better than people think as long as Lillard's healthy. As long as Lillard's healthy, that's a 40-win team by itself.
I look at that roster. I like the moves they made, but nothing sticks out to me that thinks that team will be anything more than a bubble play-in team. Like Dame is gonna have to carry them. I think Jeremy Grant's fine. Nurkic's health is gonna really depend to me on just how good they're going to be. It's all about health with them.
It's all about health with them. But let me.
Is Simons going to be able to? Is he going to be able to build on last year?
Anthony Simons is a sneaky good player.
Not even sneaky good at this point. He broke out last year.
He absolutely did. A lot of people don't really look at Anthony Simons as this, that, or the other. He just turned 23 years old last month. He averaged 17 points, 4 assists, and 3 boards last year. His numbers, by the way, analytically are fantastic.
For sure.
He's not C.J. McCollum.
He's not. My question is, though, how is he going to play next to Dame, though? Because remember, all these numbers happen without Dame Lillard. How is that going to work? I'm very interested to watch Portland. Portland's not a league pass team, but they're
No.
a team I'm going to be reading about quite often.
Gary Payton was a good pickup. As you said,
like that
Nurkic, if
pickup.
he's healthy, is a huge thing. Jeremy Grant's a great pickup at the 4, not defensively. I mean, they lose with
No,
Livingston.
Jeremy Grant's fine if he's your third or fourth option.
And by the way, they added Shaden Sharp, which is a wild card. I think it's going to be a fight between the Blazers. I think the Lakers will be back in. It's just LeBron James.
That's
LA,
another thing, though. The same thing we said before. It's health related, right? If you're only getting 45 games out of Anthony Davis, you're screwed. We saw last year, LeBron can't carry that team.
No.
And everyone's like, they've made a couple decent, like the Lonnie Walker pickup's nice, but that's what we said about them last offseason. All the peripheral moves they made, everyone's like, oh, the Lakers, oh, such a good move.
I was one of them.
They are good moves, but they don't matter if AD's unhealthy.
Kendrick Nunn, Malik Monk.
Yes.
My issue was not the Russell Westbrook thing. And I was really impressed with the off-radar moves that the Lakers made last year.
But none of them mattered because AD was hurt and LeBron was hurt.
That's
and they
correct.
won't matter if AD is hurt again, even if LeBron's healthy for 70 games. If Anthony Davis isn't playing, this Lakers team cannot win.
Last time I looked, and we'll get more updates on this over the next couple months, NBA futures have the Kings somewhere around 32.5, 33.5 wins.
I'd take the over.
I would take the over too. I just don't know how much. And
Doesn't matter.
People made fun of the whole 40-win thing. But I think if you told me right now the Kings would finish the season with 40 wins, I'd say, okay. And you know what? 40 wins, that would have had you comfortably as the 8 seed. 2 games behind the Clippers, or excuse me, as a 10 seed. 2 games behind the Clippers. And by the way, the Clippers get Kawhi Leonard back. Let's not forget that either. We'll take a break.